you, my Lord. Please be seated. So those of you who have been listening over the past couple of months to me reflecting on the still even just the first chapter of Mark, will know that I've been sort of obsessing a little bit about this idea that the image of Jesus as a radical revolutionary bent on overthrowing the powers and forces of evil in the world doesn't come off too easily in Mark chapter 1. Jesus seems just so focused on individual people, on kind of melting into the background, on not making a big splash, on not making a big announcement of himself, and at every turn of kind of disappearing into the woodwork. And it's just not a picture that you would want to paint of someone who is bent on rallying the troops to foment revolution and rebellion in society. And the story, the image of Jesus as the revolutionary, rebellious overthrower of the established powers doesn't get a lot of help when you get up to Mark chapter 1, verse 40. Because here, again, Jesus is faced with just one person, an individual who has a real and a serious problem. And Jesus takes the time to stop, pay attention to this person, and to offer him hope and even healing. Mark says a leper came to Jesus begging him, and kneeling, he said to him, "If you choose, you can make me clean." And then Mark has this interesting phrase about Jesus. He says, "Moved with pity, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, 'I do choose, be made clean.'" Moved with pity. The Greek word there is, it's such a great word, splagiznomai. Isn't that a great word? Splagiznomai. And it comes from the Greek noun splagna. And splagna means gut. So really, literally, it says, moved in his gut, Jesus reached out and touched the leper. And what you need to know about that is that for the ancient Greeks, the seat of emotion, the source of their emotional life, was seen to be somewhere down here in the belly, in the guts. It's really the way we would think of now as the heart. We think of the heart as being the place from which flow our feelings and our emotions and our motivations. So we might say, moved in his heart with pity, Jesus stretched out his hand. But for the Greeks, it was moved in his depth, in the depths of his innermost being. And I think that is important. Whether you take it as heart or guts, I don't think really matters. What it says is that our primary motivations in life, our best motivations in life, don't come from out there. So it doesn't say that Jesus moved with the desire to build up his army, reached out and touched the man and healed him and said, "Come now, join me and we'll overthrow the Romans." It doesn't say, and Jesus now moved with the desire to make a big impression, reached out his hand, touched the man and healed him and said, "Aren't I great?" It says, moved from in his guts. And I think it raises a significant question for us. about where we're moved from. What is it that moves us? Where do our motivations come from? What is it that causes us to make the choices and the decisions in life that we make? What is it that lies behind our attitudes, our words, our interactions with other people? Is it what's happening out there? Is it a desire to make a big impression? Is it a desire to win power and influence over people? Are we moved by the desire for some kind of external success in the eyes of the world? Or are we moved from a deep inner place of sincerity and truth and honesty? Are we moved from a place of desiring to be somehow genuine and authentic to who we know that we are? That's what Jesus did. That's how Jesus was moved. Jesus was moved by that autonomous inner sense within himself of truth. He was dependent on no forces outside of himself for his choices, his decisions, his actions, and his words. That's a great vision. That's what we're called to be able to be people who can stand our ground, because we know that our ground isn't out there. We know that our ground is in here. This is who I am. And I can move out into the world from there. That's the call. You know, so often you get the impression of Christian life that is, oh, that means, keeping your teeth brushed and smiling nicely all the time. It's not what it is. It's nothing to do with that. It's about finding that deep inner place of truth from which we can be moved. And I'm not convinced that the leper in this story was coming from that place. It appears to me from the picture that we're given of this leper that he was really coming from a place of wanting what he wanted and a determination to do whatever it took to get what he wanted. And I feel that way about this guy because after he receives what he wanted, he's told that he is healed, and he's immediately and instantly, Mark says, made clean. After that, Jesus, Mark says, sternly warned him and sent him away at once, saying to him, "See that you say nothing to anyone." You hear what that says? Shut up. Right? Verse 45. But he went out and began to proclaim it freely and to spread the word. Did he do what Jesus instructed him to do? See that you say nothing to anyone. But he went out and began to proclaim it freely and to spread the word. He did, in fact, precisely the opposite of what it was that Jesus instructed him to do. It appears that this leper got what he wanted and then continued to do what he wanted. He was unable or unwilling to listen to that deep voice of truth within himself, the voice of Jesus. And I would suggest to you that what this actually means is that this leper was not healed at all. He got better. He got physically better. But he was not made whole. He was not restored to true life. And I partly say that because, there's another story about actually 10 lepers, which we usually trot out at Thanksgiving. In Luke's Gospel, chapter 17, 10 lepers come and ask Jesus for healing. And he heals them all 10 of them, and sends them away to go. He sends them away to go and show themselves to the priest, and on the way they're healed. And then 9 of them carry on their way. And one of them comes back to Jesus and gives thanks. And Jesus says to this one leper, "Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well, has made you whole." He is the only one who was made whole. He's the only one of the 10 who was in fact healed. I don't really, it's not, physical healing is great, and what a blessing. But it's not the point. There's I shouldn't tell you about this, but whatever. You'll forgive me. Heather and I have been watching a TV show. It's going to take us 32 years to get through all the episodes of This Is Us on Netflix. But we're persevering and we're carrying on. We haven't got through season 1 yet, but eventually, one of these days, we'll accumulate enough 40-minute episodes and we'll get through all 5 seasons or 6 seasons of 18 episodes every season. Who makes this stuff? But it's quite an amazing TV series. It's an extraordinary bunch of stories. And one of the stories has a woman in it. Her name is Kate. There's three triplets. I guess there's always 3 triplets, eh? So there's 3 siblings. They're triplets. And Kate is struggling with her weight all through, I imagine, right through probably till episode number 349 or however many there are. She struggles with her weight. And it's very sensitively done. It's very profound and it's very deep. And one of the solutions that she thinks, maybe I'll try this, and she goes to see the doctor, and the doctor explains the whole thing, is gastric bypass surgery. That's serious, major surgery. And for some people it probably works, and God bless them, and I am glad it does. But in the episode where they're discussing gastric bypass surgery, she comes to the awareness that it just might not be the solution to her issues. That in fact, she might lose 200 pounds and she would still be exactly the same person she was when she went into the surgery. Think about that. She could get healed, quote unquote, and not be made whole. And the journey we're on isn't to healing. The journey we're on is to wholeness. It's way, way deeper than just healing. It's an inner work. It's an inner journey that we need to take. And this leper, he wasn't willing to take the journey. Instead, he went off and did his own thing. Because the journey included an instruction from Jesus that the leper didn't pay attention to. 2 instructions, in fact. Maybe 3. The first instruction I already told you was, say nothing to anyone. Well, we know he didn't obey that. But listen to the second and third instruction. See that you say nothing to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer your cleansing, what Moses commanded, as a testimony to them. This leper, any leper in Jesus' day, was an outcast. Leprosy was seen to be, and maybe it is, I don't know anything about it, was seen to be extraordinarily contagious. And so a leper was always isolated from their community, cut off from their network of love and support and encouragement. This leper could not have been in temple for all of the time he had had leprosy. He could not have gathered with his faith community. He could not have joined in worship. He could not have found the support and the encouragement and the nurture of others around him who were saying by their actions and by their presence in temple, who were saying, you know, there's more to life than just getting healed. There's a whole other dimension to life that is embodied by and symbolized in this temple. And if we are going to live in harmony, in tune with that deeper awareness, then I hate to break it to you, but we're going to need one another. We're going to have to go and show ourselves to the priest. Not because the priest is a priest, but because the priest embodies this idea that there is a transcendent community whose only reason for existence is to support us in finding within ourselves that deeper place of truth and authenticity and sincerity. This is where you come to connect, not because you're great, not on the basis of your power, not on the basis of your prestige, not on the basis of your wealth or how smart you are or all of your great degrees. You come here to connect simply on the basis of the reality that we share a common humanity and we are bonded by that deep inner truth of the voice of God and love and truth that speaks in our hearts and in our lives. I had a wedding here on Friday. Strange, but that's when it was. Friday afternoon. And the bride in that wedding, when I first came here to this community, these many, many, many years ago, was a child of, I don't know, I shouldn't guess, but she probably, I don't think she was 10. And here she was on Friday in this same place, gathered with people who many of whom I knew, and many of whom have been in this community long. In fact, the piano player, Christy Normanthal, was here playing, and Christy's been part of this community longer than I have. She was a teeny little girl now, and went then, and now I have to look way up to say hello to Christy. I found that very powerful. I found that so moving. These people who somehow, maybe you don't see them every Sunday, maybe not every other Sunday, but you see them sometimes. And when something important's going on, they want to be here. They want to show up. And they want to embody their awareness that they are part of something that transcends their ability to be smart and capable in life. I was running yesterday with Rachel, with my oldest daughter. We were talking about this, and she said, and I don't think she's here this morning, is she? Rachel, you here? No, Rachel. So, but she was saying to me, that community really means something to me. And I really hold it dear in my heart that those people are there, and that when I show up, they know me. Because there are people there who've known me since I was 5 years old. And they still know me. They still see me as a person. They're still interested in my life. They still care about who I am as a person. For all these many, many long years, for all this long journey. And so when she comes here, admittedly, not all that often, but from time to time, when she comes here, she finds real healing. She is made more whole by being in this place with you than she would otherwise be simply on her own. This leper did not get that gift. He was unwilling or unable, for whatever reason, to listen more deeply to that inner truth of life and love and connection that is his true nature and that is our true nature. So, as you go away from here this morning, ask yourself, what are the voices that I'm listening to in my life? And are those voices that I listen to most carefully, are they voices that are leading me just, hopefully at least, to healing? Or are they voices that are leading me, in fact, to wholeness, to the recognition of my true identity as a child created in the image and likeness of God, as a being who is a radiant sign of love and truth and light in all the world?